So you said the haircut lady cannot cut our hair?
She cannot. Yeah, I'm sorry. Cindy can.
I look like Jimmy Neutron. It's another morning, another beautiful day here in Northern Illinois. I don't think I filmed a video last night. I did film a video last night, but it didn't turn out super, super good. I don't know what's going on, but it's freaking beautiful out, like really nice out. Oh, it's 12 p.m. I just kind of woke up. Well, I didn't get much done last night, like filming wise. I still have some pretty sweet news. What? No. When I have this weird voice, it usually means, and usually when I have the camera set up, it means I'm talking to the camera. I started to talk, and she's like looking at me like I'm looking at the camera too. Like, did you really think I was talking to you? Okay. Anyhow, I don't even know what I was saying. I'm just kidding. Well, yesterday I didn't get much done filming wise. I did have a pretty big day. I'm welcoming a new piece of hardware to the camera family. This right here is a camera I've been wanting for quite some time. It's actually a camera that Rob had picked up. I kind of helped him pick this specific camera up. It's a Sony a7S Mark II. Yeah, I'm really excited to use this camera and use it in my videos. I don't necessarily think it's gonna be like my go-to all-around vlogging camera just because of, well, this doesn't really, I don't know, that just kind of bugs me. But other than that, it's a really good camera to be behind. Like when I'm filming, it's a good camera. So you see this camera right now. This camera is a very expensive piece of hardware. It's something I've, like I said, really wanted for quite some time and saved up for. But I wanted to rewind about, let's see, what would that be, 8 years ago from this present date to when I got my first ever camera. This right here is like the OG Fishing in the Midwest camera. The first ever Fishing in the Midwest videos were filmed off of this little thing right here. So here's the camera. As you may be able to tell, it's probably not the best camera to be filming everyday videos, but the footage is a little bit dusty, just a little bit. So you saw this, and you saw it compared to the Canon 7D, which I'm filming off right now. Now let's compare this with this. I think this is probably going to be a pretty big difference. So here's the difference between these two cameras. You may be able to tell that the one on the right is a little bit better. It picks up a little bit better. It's good with color, and it's in 4K. So that's something I can't do with this camera. This camera's got 4K. This one doesn't. There's a lot of different nitpicky things I can go into, but essentially this camera is an absolute beast. It's ahead of its time. And I can't wait to film some of the stuff off of this camera and just bring you guys some really awesome dope B-roll content, you know. This camera is basically gonna be something I'll be able to be very creative with. All right, so you guys get the point. So right now I'm just gonna take this outside and just shoot around with it. I still need to learn it. I just got it yesterday. I'm very unfamiliar with Sony layout and shooting capabilities. So let's get some dope B-roll, folks. So yesterday was kind of a lazy day. Today is not going to be a lazy day, mainly because I have to get so much done. Tomorrow I leave for Ohio. I'm driving my mom to Ohio to spend some time with family. And I'll also be, God, I forgot the keys. I'll also be doing some fishing on the infamous Lake X. It's where I filmed my first video ever.
Hi, welcome to Fishing Midwest.
With actually this camera right here, which I talked about earlier in today's video. So I'm going back there this week. I'm gonna be there for a few days before I can even leave. I've got to clean up this mess right here. This is really, really bad. And it's time to just clear it out. It really is time, folks. I don't know why that's in there.
Depuis ton départ, je ne savais pas combien j'allais ne plus penser à toi.
Well, I finished cleaning just in time. The car looks great. All my fishing equipment looks great. There's like a few loose ends, but other than that, it looks good. Here's what my trunk now looks like. Bam, straight goodness. It doesn't look like a BPS bargain bin anymore. It actually looks pretty solid. Basically everything you see in this trunk right here is what I'm bringing to Ohio. It's a little overkill. I'm bringing a little bit too much stuff, but I'd rather be prepared than not have anything I need. So I'm bringing a swim jig rod, punching rod, finesse rod, skipping rod, small crank rod, jig rod, big crank rod, spinnerbait, swim bait rod, and frog rod. Like I said, just a little bit overkill. So I kind of want to show you guys something really quickly. Okay, so just letting you guys know, the car was first, then this is next. This is really bad, I know. Boom! So those lights I was talking about, I think in maybe 2 vlogs ago or 3 vlogs ago, are now on the ceiling and installed. Pretty sweet little lights. I like them a lot. You can adjust them. I'm actually going to install 3 more, I think, up there. Yeah, basically just came down here to show you that the lights are up. Pretty cool, huh? I don't know. The biggest challenge about this camera is I have no clue if I'm in frame or not. I'd have to assume so, but it's really hard to tell. Yeah, what was I gonna do? Oh, I know. In one of my recent videos, I mentioned something about wanting to incorporate more tips and tactics within these vlogs or these videos. Now, while I'm not a huge fan of making these type of videos, I don't think it's necessarily bad to kind of fit in a small portion within every vlog or so, enabling you guys to catch more fish and just share some of my thoughts when it comes to fishing. But granted, I do not want this channel to be geared only towards fishing. I have a bunch of other awesome ideas and things I want to film that are kind of outside that fishing realm. I don't know. I know some of you guys are out there saying, oh, this is a fishing channel, why is he posting, you know, a vlog or something stupid like that? And I know I get a lot of discouragement and hate because of the fact that I don't strictly focus on fishing, but I want to expand my audience. I feel like I can get other people into fishing by making videos that aren't necessarily related to that. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten comments from people who say, I don't fish, but I watch your videos, or I didn't like fishing, but now that I've watched your videos, I'm starting to get into it. Whatever, we're not gonna worry about that too much. What we are gonna worry about are some baits that I would highly suggest throwing as of right now. Now, for those of you guys who know, I think fall is right around the corner, or technically it's fall or something like that, I don't know. So fall is basically one of my favorite times to fish. That's kind of why I'm making this video. I absolutely love fall in general, and I absolutely love fishing in fall. It's like, no joke, one of the best times to catch big fish. I've got assortment baits right here. I'm just briefly gonna go over each specific one and how I would throw it. Okay, let me think about this. Okay, so we've got mid-fall, and then this is like, so I think I've got it figured out here. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, let's start with early fall. The first thing I want to start throwing is once the pad starts to die, once some of the grass starts to die, and once some of these fish start feeding heavily, the one bait I'm going to pull out is a buzz bait. People don't realize that topwater actually works really good in the fall season. I look for dead pad fields, sparse or emergent grass, which means that grass is kind of coming out of the water, and I'll throw this around dying or dead vegetation. Highly would recommend this if you're not already throwing it for early fall. The next one, which kind of crosses into like early to mid fall, is a grass jig, swim jig, pitch jig, whatever you want to call it. This right here is a killer head design because it not only allows you to swim it, but allows you to kind of flip it, skip it, get it anywhere. This is really one of the main jig head designs I will throw. This is like my go-to for this time of year, and I like a really annoying, obnoxious trailer on the back to push a ton of water. So this works pretty much all fall for the most part, even up to early winter, but I start throwing it immediately here in a bit. Okay, so you got like mid-fall. I'm gonna talk about some of the mid-fall lures. One bait that works really good is a lipless crankbait. This works good again for those more active fish that's feeding on shad or whatever they're feeding on. Lipless crankbaits work really good whether you're burning them or yo-yoing them. It's a really good fall hard bait. Next, you have a popper, just a straight up popper. This lure actually excels a ton during like cold fronts, during like those fall rainy days. I've caught so many fish, hundreds, thousands of fish on a popper just like this, a very simple popper. The fish are not timid in the fall. They're feeding heavily. They're getting ready to go into that winter stage. They want to bulk up, kind of like a bear or a squirrel. They want to bulk up all that food for hibernation. Their hibernation basically means that their metabolism goes down and they're not going to be feeding as heavily when the water gets cold. So they're not going to hesitate to eat a fast, erratic moving popper. You really can't go wrong with a popper this time of year. And again, like the buzzbait, it's fun to watch them come up and eat it. The other lure I really like throwing around shallow flats, shallow windy flats, when I've got a ton of wind, I mean like an absolute ton of wind, is a spinnerbait. Actually, I think I made a video on it. It was like probably 4 years ago. I got off of school. It was like Halloween day. I was just like, I had the opportunity to hang out with my friends. I was like, forget it. I'm going to go out in the lake. I know the bite's going to be good. The wind was insane. It was like 30 miles per hour. I picked up a spinnerbait very similar to this, found a nice lake with a bunch of pads on it, and just crept this spinnerbait off the bottom. Even though the wind was kicking up and even though there's probably a bunch of bait moving around, I just barely moved this thing and I caught so many freaking fish, so many nice fish. Okay, so then we've got our last two lures, our late fall lures, baits that we're gonna rely on to catch our fish. And in my opinion, early winter to late fall is the window, like the freaking window to pick up that giant fish. I've caught some absolute studs when there's ice in my guides, when I'm just ready to go home and sit by the fire. I mean, it's crazy as to how these fish will react in super, super cold water. So for those situations when it's just brutal, nasty cold out, I like these two baits. One of which, a small jerkbait, and the other being a medium or moderate diving crankbait. For a bait like this, I'll kind of find like a rocky bank or something like that. I'll throw it out there and I'll just kind of reel it in with a moderate pace. I don't like to slow it around too much. I like moderate depth because those fish aren't necessarily moved off completely into their deep holes, so you kind of catch them in between the shallow to deep with a moderate diving. And you really need to try this wherever you live. But it's kind of a niche type of lure. You need to look for rock, you need to look for steep banks in order to throw this. It's not a great pond lure to throw around grass or mud bottom areas. The other lure I'd really suggest throwing is just like a suspending jerkbait. I look for open areas on the end of points, along riprap. I mean, this lure works in a variety of different areas, and I'll go for the really erratic rips and long pauses. Very retrieves or something like this. This is kind of a daunting bait to throw. Anyway, these are like my top, let's see, how many baits we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you have it, folks. These are my top 7 baits I would highly suggest throwing here in a little bit. And if you don't already have some of these lures, definitely pick some up. I might leave a link in the description below where you can buy some of these lures to make it easy on you. Try it out. These are some suggestions that I highly recommend. Hope you enjoyed that. I know some of you guys really want fishing related content and tips and tricks, so here it is. I kind of had fun with that. That was a good breath of fresh air. What's up?
I'm sorry.
No, you're cool.
If you were taping, I didn't want to.
No, you're cool. What's up?
I've got your loan up.
I'm about to go to the bridge and shoot some stuff.
Seriously?
A little late. So my dad and I are gonna go down to the bridge and kind of test some of the low light capabilities of the Sony A7. And the reason why I want to do this is because there's gonna be times where I'm gonna film fishing videos at night. And before I do that, I want to make sure it's like good to go. So I've got 2 lenses I want to test. 50 mil, I think it is, a 50 mil with a f-stop of 1.8, and then there's this, which has got an f-stop of 4. So we'll see how that goes.
Depuis hier, depuis ton départ, je ne savais pas combien j'allais ne plus penser à toi. Toi, toi, toi. Depuis hier, depuis ton départ, je ne savais pas combien j'allais ne plus penser à toi.
Ready? I think this is probably the most incredible camera I've ever owned, guys. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I guess I didn't know. I didn't realize. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I know this wasn't the most bomb, the most insane, incredible vlog I've ever filmed, but I hope you still enjoyed it. There's gonna be vlogs like this every now and then. You know, like I said, every vlog's not gonna consist of just fishing related content. I want it to have fishing in it, but I don't want it just to be geared towards fishing. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, keep fishing. Never stop.
Depuis hier, depuis ton départ, je ne savais pas.
Burgers.
Wait, let
are you
me
doing?
let me explain. I told you.
I just really want to see what I'm eating.